Today we're going to take a look at a brief introduction into equations. If you read the statement below, you'll find we have a mathematical statement containing an expression is what we call an open sentence. And then if that sentence contains an equal sign, we call it an equation. So basically, what makes an equation is an equal sign. The set of numbers from which replacement for a variable may be chosen, we call a replacement set. Right here. And the solution set is the numbers within that replacement set that make the sentence true. So in this example here, we want to find the solution set of the equation if we have a replacement set made up of these numbers. What we're going to do is we're going to take and substitute each one of those numbers, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, in for A in this equation and see which one makes a true statement. So let's go ahead and do that. If I take 4 times 2 plus 7, we want that to equal 23. So this is 8 plus 7, which we know is 15, which does not equal 23. Pop in 3. 4 times 3 plus 7 should equal 23. We know that's 12 plus 7, which is 19, which does not equal 23. 4 times 4 plus 7, once again, should equal 23. 16 plus 7, 23 equals 23. That's definitely going to be a solution. There may be more than one, but we have to plug it in to find out. 4 times 5 plus 7 should equal 23, which we know is 20 plus 7, or 27, which we know doesn't equal 23. And finally, 4 times 6 plus 7 should equal 23, which we know is 24 plus 7, or 31, which we know does not equal 23. So our solution to this problem is 4. So now below we have an equation because we have this equal sign that we're supposed to solve. Now for the most part, if I were to just take and erase the equals n and I said simplify, that would then be an expression and we'd reduce that to its lowest terms by performing order of operations and get an answer. This says solve because of course we have the equal sign. So let's go through order of operations. I have 6 times 5 over 24 plus 6, 30 on top, 30 on bottom, reduced to 1. So that equation's equal to 1. Next, a little word problem. We've got Jennifer purchasing CDs, and she pays $10 for each CD, as well as $50 for the CD player. We want to write and solve an equation, find the total amount spent if she buys 4 CDs and a CD player. So we know that you get a CD player, plus $10 for every CD equals total cash. So I know the CD player was $50. I know it's $10 for every CD, and we'll call the CDs, let's just call it variable C. and that's going to equal an unknown total. But they tell us she's going to buy 4 CDs, so I can just make a substitution and say 50 plus 10 times 4 is going to equal my total. And since I have an equal sign once again, this is an equation. So I have 50 plus 40 is equal to a total of $90 spent. Next, we know that an airplane can travel at a speed of 550 miles an hour. I want to write and solve an equation to find the time it will take to fly from London to Montreal if the distance from London to Montreal is 3,300 miles. Let's just think about practical application of how to get this done. If I am in a car and I go, let's just call this an example. If I'm in a car and I go 60 miles an hour for 1 hour, I go 60 miles. If I go 60 miles an hour for 2 hours, I go 120 miles. 60 miles an hour, 3 hours, I go 180 miles, etc., etc., etc. So there's a mathematical relationship between what we call the rate and the time. If I multiply those two together, it ends up giving me the distance traveled. So this is commonly known. The rate times the time is equal to the distance. So now I know I have a rate of 550 miles per hour. So I'm going to plug that in for the rate. The question asks to write and solve an equation to find the time. I don't know the time. So I'm going to call that my unknown. Let's just call it t for the heck of it. And they gave us a distance of 3,300 miles. So now I need to find out 550 times what's going to equal 3,300. My guess is 6, just because I know 500 times 6 is 3,000. So I'm going to do this by guess and check because we haven't showed you how to solve an algebraic equation yet. Although most of you, I'm sure, have seen this before. But we'll say t is equal to 6, and let's label that properly because we're talking about a time. It should be hours. Then our last example of the day is going to be to determine if a given number is a solution of the equation. My equation is over here on the left, and we want to know if 2 is a solution. So if 2 is a solution, I can plug that into the equation or make that substitution for x, solve, and get a true statement. 4.2 times 2 is going to be 8.4. Subtract out the 1.6, and hopefully that equals 7. And I know 8.4 minus 1.6 is equal to 6.8, which doesn't equal 7. Therefore, no. 2 is not a solution to the equation. So remember to write your lesson summary, solve these equations below, and put them on the form before the next class period.